Welcome to Badass in Action, the show that ignites your inner fire and propels you toward your epic goals. I'm Melanie Browning, delivering raw interviews, game-changing stories, and mindset hacks to keep you moving. Get ready, it's go time. Welcome back to Badass in Action. I'm your host, Melanie Browning, and today I have a very special guest. It is Bella Hibbs. She is the owner and casting director for Good Faith Casting, with over 12 years experience casting for film, TV, and commercials. She's also the director of the Southwest Actors Conference. I just was there. How am I blanking on this? The Southwest Actors Conference, where she combines creativity and business strategy for talent and shaping the entertainment industry for the Southwest. Her purpose? She loves helping people step into new opportunities with clarity and confidence. Welcome, Bella.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so happy. Like I was telling you, you have been on my list of, man, can I ask this person to come be on my show, on my podcast for a very long time. First of all, I started following you back when I was in Utah, like over 5 years ago, just because you stood out as someone just giving so many helpful tips to actors. So I kind of want to get in first of what led you into this industry. I know it's been a long time in the industry, but just kind of give people what led you into it and maybe a little bit of a background for those people that aren't in the industry, what it is that you do, because it's a very unique business to be in.
Yeah, so I'm a casting director for film, television, commercials. I am a second generation casting director, so my mom started the business, and I was in college at a job I hated, and I wanted to quit without giving 2 weeks, but I was in college and I needed money. So I did what any college student does, call mom, hey, can I come work at your office? I thought it was just going to be temporary just till I found a new job, and one day we were casting for Peter Piper Pizza, and it was a mammoth of a casting, grandparents, kids, families. We were really behind, and my mom had to run to the restroom, but didn't want to back the schedule up. So I told her, well, I've been sitting in the back, doing data entry, the work that nobody else in the office wanted to do. I was like, I'll keep it running till you get back. And she said, okay, rather reluctantly, but she said, okay. And I ran my first audition. So she came back up into the studio and said, hey, if you want to do this, I'll train you. And well, that was 12 years ago. So I will say my mom did not give me special treatment. I mopped and swept floors. I did coffee client runs. I did the data entry that nobody else wanted to do. But I got to really look at casting really as a fly on the wall to see how it works, because at the time I didn't have any stakes in the game. I thought it was going to be temporary. So I'm, cleaning floors and doing coffee runs, watching how directors and producers interacted with my mom. And so I got a really great behind the scenes look. So it was kind of an easy transition to come into. So for people who don't know what a casting director does, I find people for film, television, commercials. Now, the biggest misconception with that is that casting directors don't have the final say on who gets cast. Honestly, y'all, that's a good thing, because if I did, I would cast my friends and family, duh. But it's not my $10 million film. It is a very collaborative process with the directors, the writers, showrunners, producers. So while we have influence in who gets to come to an audition, sometimes we will bring someone direct to callback because they couldn't make the first audition. At the end of the day, I don't have final say. And again, actors, that's a good thing.
Now, you have a really interesting position because your clients are, the people coming in to make the film or commercial or anything like that. But also you have to find the talent and know the talent and have those connections and build all those things. So it's a really kind of, to me, it seems like an overwhelming space to be in to build on both. How does your everyday look as far as what attention goes where, and how do you determine that?
I think that was the biggest hurdle for me becoming a business owner, because most casting directors, and no shade to them, but there are casting directors without a website. You can't find their content. And I've
hunted them down, and you can't.
I mean, part of me is genuinely impressed that you are a ghost on the internet.
Yeah.
But, I really was like, okay, I want to treat this like a business. And so you're taught in entrepreneurship, have your avatar, your ideal customer. And I'm like, well, I kind of have two avatars, because I have clients who hire me as a casting director, but then I have actors that I do need to know where they are in their careers and what they're capable of doing. And so it is, for me, probably actual like bigger business people are like, you probably just need one, but I do kind of have two avatars: the actors that I want to help and educate, get them into projects, but then the clients who are the ones paying my bills because they hire me to be the casting director. So a typical day, honestly, is not that exciting. People think that casting is red carpet premieres, open bar, parties, and celebrities. And while we do get an aspect of that, that's like 5% of the job. Most days I'm in front of a computer with my blue light glasses, scowling. I'm like, oh my God. Diving through scripts, creating breakdowns. I send so many emails. Easily, especially in our busy season, we're sending a couple hundred emails between agents, managers, then the client, then actors, and it's just constant all day long. So it's not as glamorous as it looks, but I still love it.
That's awesome. Now, just the 5%, what is that like though? And how do you handle those highs that come with it? And how do you measure, I guess, like the big aha moments, or what do you aim for?
That is, I think everyone should be really cautious of really soaking in when you've done a good job. And that's a lesson I've had to learn because, especially in Hollywood, like I get it. I'm not casting Marvel yet.
Yes.
But then there used to be a time where I would be not as proud of a project. 'Cause I'm like, oh, well, it's just like an independent feature. Like, who's going to even see this? But then I know how much work went into it, how many celebrities we pitched till we found the perfect, lead. And then, the casting that we did locally. And then I know, like, a location fell through the night before and we had to change the script and recast. And I know how much work went into it. And so it's taking those moments to just be proud of, like, oh my gosh, like, we did this. And if anybody's in the entertainment industry, it is nothing short than magic to get a movie made, especially when you don't have a network or a studio backing it. It is so hard, but it is so rewarding. And in a time where instant gratification is so prevalent, people, they want it right away. Film and television is not like that. Yeah. It is, we're working on it for months and months, and then it films, and then we wait a year for editing, and then it gets picked up, and then it gets into the theater. It is a very long form dopamine drip, but once it comes through, it is the best high.
That's awesome. And I really love like that theme, and I think that's for any industry, especially entrepreneurship. You have the highs and you have the red carpet moments, but to know the work that you put into it, to know the work that your team put into it, and to really celebrate that. Is there any kind of routine you have with that, or is it just sitting in the moment and just like feeling that joy?
I do two things. I journal a lot. And I know people, some of you probably rolling your eyes like, I am not going to sit down with a pen and paper and journal, Bella. It's not happening. That's okay. I actually have two forms of journaling. I have a Google Doc that I use, so if I want to type it out. And then I also bought just like a $20 recorder. And sometimes I just like to document the moment of like, oh my God, I had this brain idea, or, oh, this story popped in. I want to document it. And then I just try to remind myself to live in the moment of documenting, and even if I never post it. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I will just put my camera up and film a phone meeting because I want to see my reaction because the deal came through, or I'm about to do a pitch meeting where I'm really nervous because I don't know if the speaker is going to want to come speak, but I just want to document the process so that way I have it to look back and be like, oh my gosh, like Bella back then, if she knew that in 6 months like this person was going to get attached to the film, she would be so freaking excited. Yeah. And so I want to have those moments because we forget, we get to the end of that finish line and then all of a sudden we're like, well, I actually wanted this, or I'll be happy when this happens. I didn't really mean this. And so we just, and maybe not everyone, but I'm very guilty of moving the goalpost of, oh, I said I wanted to cast a TV show. And I love this example because I said I wanted to cast a TV show, put it out in the universe, manifest it. I get the phone call, and it was a pilot for NBC, and I was like, oh my God, it's happening. We want you to cast background. And I was like, what? I was like, damn it. I'm like, so I did. I cast the background because my goal was I'm going to show this producer how amazing I am, and then hopefully I would get promoted to head of casting. And so I learned very quickly, you got to be specific with the universe.
Yes, absolutely.
So, unfortunately, the show did not get picked up, but that's okay. Now I know. I'm like very specific of what you want. You say, an actor says, oh, I want to book a film. Okay, do you want to book a SAG film? Yeah. Is there a certain budget you want to book? Do you want to book a lead? Let's be specific because the universe is always listening.
And the other part of manifesting that I found really interesting is a lot of times, and I found it kind of more along those vague lines too, when you put something out there, that after you've had it and done it, you didn't even realize it. like you kind of going back, maybe at this time you're reflecting over the year and you look and you go, okay, I wanted, this feature film or whatever specific thing. And you realize, wait, I got it, but it looks so different because maybe you weren't as specific or for whatever reasons. But I love the concept that even in those moments, even if it didn't show up the way that you wanted it to, it's a reminder that the universe is listening. And so often to like get those nuggets from the universe reflecting back to us, I think is another time to just like soak it in and go, okay, and like calm the soul. Okay, time to get specific and move forward. What is it, is there anything that you're looking toward manifesting right now? I remember a couple weeks ago, maybe months by now, hearing a couple different things, but I absolutely love hearing you talk about manifesting. So
it's so funny because I feel like there are a sector of people who kind of like poo-poo manifesting, and it's like, oh, that's so woo, you're so woo. And I just chuckle because it's like, how do you expect the universe, God, whatever higher power you look towards, how do you expect them to give you the thing you say you want if you don't even know what you want? So that's why it is so important to be specific. Right now, I'm personally in a bit of a pivot, and I am dipping very slowly a toe in at doing like developmental films and doing star attachments and getting them financed. My small little goal, and I just haven't said this out loud really, so I guess that's why I'm stuttering, of potentially maybe getting into a producer role. I don't know what that will look like, but I have had some opportunities where I feel like the universe is maybe nudging me this way, and I like to call them winks, where the universe winks at you. And sometimes when I see those, I'm like, okay, well, I don't feel like the universe would present this opportunity if I wasn't meant to at least try it. And so I right now have 2 films in development that we're looking to get our stars attached to it, and it has been the biggest learning process. But again, I don't feel like the universe would give me this opportunity if I wasn't at least supposed to explore it a little bit.
Absolutely. Where did you kind of develop that sense of trusting the universe, believing in it, following it? Because I've studied it for a while, and I'll ebb and flow out of being able to like, yeah, it's really real even, So is there something that started you along that path, and how do you kind of stay the course when it gets bumpy?
That's a really good question. I have always just been a workhorse, and I'm like, if I just work really hard and if I do the things and I stay consistent, I know I'll get the thing I want. And so during 2020, we had a lot of free time, I started investing in business courses and really saying like, okay, I have this business. Am I going to be a business owner? And like I was talking about, a lot of casting directors, they don't really treat it as a business. And that's fine, that's their path, but I know I wanted something more, so I'm like also very smart in the sense of like I know my limitations, so I'm like, I'm gonna invest in myself, I'm gonna do some courses. And I kind of slowly got introduced to the personal development world, and I thought, oh my gosh, like this is so cool, we actually have so much control in a very chaotic world. And so it just gives me a lot of peace to know that, okay, I'm working towards something bigger. It might not look the way I think it will look, but at least I know where I want to go. And so then I just kind of got into the personal development world. I went to events like Powerhouse Women, Speaker Spotlight, and just getting tapped into that, which created such a beautiful community that I didn't even know that I needed or even wanted. To have people who get the big vision, who aren't there to dim your light, who are, if anything, expanding you of like, oh, have you thought of this? And I'm like, whoa, so it is something that it is a practice that you have to stay consistent with, but it just frankly gives me hope that I'll get the thing that I desire if I just continue on this path.
I love that. And it's such a powerful message for, not only entrepreneurs, but the actors that you serve too. And I do want to say serve, and you're very unique in that. And there are some other casting directors out there that take a lot of time and energy for that as well. But how do you find that time to be able to give to the talent in the way that you do? And for those people that maybe don't follow you, what I'm speaking of is you show up on social media. You give, so many different tips. You give insights. You give behind the scenes of what you're thinking, someone that's helping with the casting. And also, being, the director of the Southwest Actors Conference, that was huge. I was so grateful I got to attend this year. Like where is the decision to go that route and really commit to that?
Well, I'm so happy that you were able to come this year because every year is a truly new experience, but last year was my favorite year. It was so awesome. For me, I honestly, the social media aspect came because I was just kind of stuck. I didn't really know what step to take next. And so there's like a business quote out there that's like, oh, if you don't know where to start by serving others. And so I thought, okay, well, I can go online and share some stories and tips. And I really try to share the why, that this isn't just what I like as a casting director. There are reasons certain things happen in the industry. And so if I could just teach people the why, they would understand it. And then kind of self-serving, if an actor takes the tip, applies it, and they do a great audition, my client's happy, we get them cast. So it was kind of a win-win for me in that aspect of like, okay, if I post out this content, people will get better, more people will hire me because I have this awesome base of actors that are really well trained. And then it was nice too, it kind of, the twofold of it was it created such a sense of community again that I didn't even know that I needed, but I think actors needed too. I've seen actors try to sabotage other actors to get ahead, or that mentality of it's us versus them, and well, if they get it, then I won't get it, when it's so not the way it has to be in the industry. And so social media does require a lot of time, but at the same time, I love it. Like, I don't know, that's probably the perfectionist in me too, of like, oh, like the perfect hook and the graphics and the fonts that, oh, it looks so good. I'm just like, I'm so proud of this. And so getting to share it, I just do find it to be fun. And then I started going live once a month for casting and conversations. So that way, the industry is very nuanced. So like people, I'd make a post and they're like, well, what about this? And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not talking about that. So being able to go live, I can just expand a lot more on ideas and really tell people like, yeah, what you do for film and television isn't necessarily what you'll do for commercials or voiceover or when you're on set. Auditioning in itself is a skill. When you get to set, it's still hard, it's still work, but it's a different skill set. So just teaching people that slowly and just really creating a community of actors that when I post who we cast in a project, I have tons of comments of people congratulating other actors. And even if they auditioned and they're like, oh, I auditioned for this, but congratulations, everyone looks great. Seeing that camaraderie gives me kind of hope for humanity.
Yeah. That's super helpful because it's wonderful to see that. And, I'm personally someone that's like, whoever's best for the project. Like I really want to see the project succeed and be the best that it is. And I think, for the actors out there, just that remembering that, it's not about you're not good enough necessarily. I mean, there's always the things that you can improve upon and take upon yourself. Yeah. But a lot of times it's just a very specific role, and it's whether or not that energy comes across from you, or if it comes across a little bit better from someone else, or sometimes even comes down to hair color and stuff like that. There's so many different variables in the industry.
And I call it the third variable. And that's the variable that you as an actor, I as casting, we cannot control. And things happen. We lose a location, one of our actors drops out, a celebrity says yes. The things that no matter how good of an audition, you could have had the perfect audition, which I don't necessarily believe in, but let's say it exists. And you still may not get cast. And so it is that balance of being able to just still have fun, they still get to perform, but then also releasing it of, okay, this just wasn't meant for me. And it's funny because actors are like, oh, well, Bella, you're a casting director. So like you get to work no matter what. But there's so many scripts that I read, so many pitches I do that I never get. I never get to be the casting director. Scripts that I'm like, oh, this would be so cool, but they don't get financing, so it never gets made. And so I understand the disappointment, and I remind myself that this just wasn't meant for my timeline, and I have to be okay with that.
I love that. That's powerful for everyone there. So with the Southwest Actors Conference, I just kind of want to behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
This was the fourth year, right?
Correct.
The fourth year. And so how long before was the idea brewing, and how long did it take you to take action? And then when you took action, kind of what did that look like? Like, where did you begin on something like that?
It was very messy, very scrappy, and I'm 100% not qualified to have started it. So I went to an event in 2018 for film and media, and I flew out, and I was so excited. I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be so amazing. And I was welcomed with a very cold shoulder of, you do not belong. Why are you here? Why would you fly out to this? And I was so hurt and confused, like, what's wrong with me? And a couple glasses of Chardonnay on the plane ride home. I was journaling, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do my own thing. And I told my sister is my expander. And I was like, can you believe this? Like, they were so rude and cold. And I'm just going to do my own thing. She's like, you should do your own conference, Bella. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. And so that was 2018. 2019, I filed business paperwork, all the fun Uncle Sam, EINs, LLCs, all that fun jazz. And started just playing around in Canva with some colors and a logo, and built a website. And so our first event was supposed to be June of 2020. Obviously, did not happen. And I remember being so upset. I do a lot of walking, and in the morning, I just literally sat on the curb and started crying because I was so upset that we were having to cancel it because of the pandemic. And we were still in early stages of the pandemic, so like part of me was like, well, maybe we'll be fine, because it was March. I'm like, by June, we'll be fine. Yeah. And now, having hindsight, it was probably the best thing that had happened in the sense of I was not ready for a conference. I was not ready mentally, professionally. The rejection, I had no idea which was coming my way because I thought, I'm going to do this cool event. Everybody's going to want to be a part of it. And while it was welcomed really awesomely from actors, the people I was pitching to did not see the vision. And why would I do this? This is stupid. Who are you? And you are, I'm just like, I'm a casting director in Arizona doing a thing. You want to do it with me? And so during COVID, I don't know if you remember the Clubhouse app.
Yeah.
It had a very small blip, and I just started going on there, which was great because it was just audio. So I didn't have to be hair and makeup, and I would just be watching self-tapes or working and listening. And then I started getting invited to speak on the panel, and I started connecting with other coaches and directors and producers and agents in LA. And I was actually able to really build my network. So when we were able to come around to actually hosting in 2021, I had a few people in my pocket that I'm like, well, they know me, so it's an easier ask, and I'm not going to be rejected as much. And so it really opened up my network of people. So I was able to provide even more value for our attendees. So it has been the wildest ride, the hardest ride. The ebbs and flows are so real, but the lessons it has taught me has only made me a better person. So it's one of those things like people are like, well, what would you do different? I'm like, I don't know, because everything brought me to this moment. And I look back, I'm like, oh yeah, there was lessons I needed to learn. And some lessons I've learned a few times. And I took different action to learn it and not have to do it anymore. But it has truly been just amazing. And I love the conference selfishly for me because I get to connect with people, especially as casting. You come in for an audition, or you send a self-tape, or you do a virtual, and it's, okay, stand by, action. Okay, thank you, goodbye. And that's it. And so at the conference, I actually get to have conversations and go deeper and ask questions and see where people are at. And I don't get to do that as much, especially being virtual. So it provides a really unique opportunity for the actors to learn and connect, but even for me to get to know talent better.
It's a super powerful mindset that I'm seeing within you as far as like, not only I'm going to go do this thing, and then when, something as big as COVID just kind of strikes down, to be able to say, okay, no, I needed that. So it was actually a benefit so that I can move forward and do all the things and get the people that really need to be involved in it. And like, just, you're speaking to my actor heart and also my entrepreneur heart of getting all of those no's and still moving forward. Okay, what can I do? Okay, where can I, it's like you're still taking the action to connect with people and to make those, those friendships and those, business relationships. So like it's just so powerful. And I love like being able to like take the fruit of all of your hard work, because when I attended this year, it was so fabulous. Like it felt like every single detail, like the I's were dotted, the T's were crossed. And it was such a community that I knew I needed, but I didn't know I was going to get in like totality there. And I loved, we show up, you have the networking night, that was fabulous. And then show up for the conference, and I'm kind of like, oh yeah, teach me everything I want to learn. And we get there, and you just sweep us off of our feet with this flash mob dance, like gets us going, energized. I'm just like, oh, she knows marketing, like how to keep people's attention. And then right after that, you come out and you hit us with this talk that we went from dancing to, I was literally bawling my eyes out in all of the good ways, with the talk that you gave, and then the exercise that you had us do for ourselves. Like, you just give so much, and I can't shout out enough praise for that conference, and kick myself for not figuring out a way to make it the years before.
Oh, thank you for that. And that's honestly the hardest marketing is, like, I'm like, people, it's a vibe. I'm like, well, how do I sell a vibe, And the stories that people walk away with from who they've met, what they've learned, how they're going to implement, how they're able to push past fear because they see other people doing the thing that they want, so they know it's possible. Like, it's a combination of so many things, the education, the networking, but then just being around people who get it and are like-minded. And especially in acting, like, it's sad because people say, like, oh, well, when are you going to get a real job? Or like, well, what do you really do?
Yeah.
And people are so dismissive of it because they don't understand the art and the craft and the love that we have to be in this industry. So to be around people who just get it, like, there's something to be said for that.
Yeah.
The flash mob was also just the best. It's so funny. So, like, my talk was a lot about mindset and controlling our thoughts. And leading up to it, I had choreographers. I was having so much fun, but then that little voice pops out, and I'm like, oh my god, like, who am I to, like, do a flash mob? And what if people think I'm, like, weird? And then, like, instantly I'm like, Bella, if you were ever gonna do a flash mob to a bunch of actors, this is the place to do it. Like, maybe a dental conference, maybe it's not their jam, but for actors, like, they will love it, and they did. It was just magical.
I was like, oh, there it is. That's what we have going on. That's awesome. And one of the biggest things is, I knew quite a few of the people there. Like, how they keep it a secret. That was another thing I was just absolutely blown away. I'm like, the amount of work that probably went into the choreography and everything. It was just like, wow.
Well, and people say, like, oh, the conference must get easier each year. Oh. And in theory it should, but it doesn't, because I am adding different experiences, different activations. So yes, some things get easier. I have some vendors that I trust and like, so those are easier. But then I'm adding in new elements of having to get a choreographer, having to rent a studio to rehearse, picking the dancers, like, who can do this. So every year is new levels, new devils.
Absolutely.
But it's worth it. It's so worth it.
It's wonderful. So any actors out there, even filmmakers anyone in the industry going to be able to, see the experience, meet people, network, it's absolutely phenomenal. So very, very wonderful job. Great job there. Now, just from, if you could take a magic wand and tap all of us actors on the brain, and to make your life easier and, filmmaking in general, is there any kind of one speaking mindset, one hack that you could give to us that would, that we need to hear, that we really need to embody?
My first instinct is my favorite mantra that I truly live my life by, that everything you want is on the other side of consistency. And what makes that mantra just so powerful is to me, it's action-based. Like, you have to do something. If you say you want to run a marathon, you've got to start running around the block. If you say you want to be an actor, you've got to start memorizing scenes. You've got to start doing scene study and character development and pushing outside of your comfort zone. And so I think a lot of actors get really excited when they first start because everything's new and shiny. Mm-hmm. It's flashy. Oh, the first audition, people love it. They remember it. The first time they're on set, the first time they get an agent, their headshot session. But then about 2 years in, the novelty and the newness wears off. And all of a sudden, this mindset turns into, I've been auditioning for this casting director 10 times. She's bringing me in again. I haven't even booked. She hates me. I'm not even going to do this audition. Oh, I only have 24 hours to get this audition in. Oh, and all of a sudden things aren't fun anymore. And so that is where the consistency part really, really comes the do or die for actors, because that's where, around the 2-year mark is when I see actors quit. Mm-hmm. Or take a break maybe. And the great thing about the industry is you can always come back to it, and that's beautiful. Go live your life, do the thing you need to do, but it's always going to be there. But the actors that I see that are able to push past that 2-year mark and understand, like, oh, these are the reps that I need to be doing, they actually just have more longevity because they're just more mentally prepared for it. So everything you want is on the other side of consistency. And sometimes that means getting a lot of no's, means getting passed up and not getting the opportunity. But hopefully an actor has done the inner work of knowing why they feel it's so important that they get their voice and their art out there. And that is powerful, especially right now. We need, art is a form of activism, and we need that more now than ever.
I love that. Because it's on the other side of consistency. So we're so used to hearing it's on the other side of fear. You know what I mean?
Fear.
As well. But consistency is so much more powerful. Like, it is good to push yourself past the fear, but you've got to do the work. You got to put in the reps, and you got to keep taking action.
Exactly. And and I think sometimes too, people think, oh, I've got to like build a new website, get a whole new team. And action is really the mundane stuff. Mm-hmm. It is, posting on social media consistently, responding to your agent or manager when they send you a request. It's sending it in early. It's like those are, while little, are the things that are going to create consistency and longevity overall. It doesn't have to be like this huge revolutionary thing. It's just doing the thing every day, even on the days you don't want to do it.
Yeah, that's good. That's powerful for actors. It's powerful for entrepreneurs. All of the above. Like, just such good advice there. So how can people contact you, and what's the best way they can get in touch with you, or at least consume your amazing advice?
Yeah, so you can follow us on Good Faith Casting on Instagram. I am on TikTok as well, but I'm not as active. TikTok's kind of mean. Like, I get a lot more trolls on TikTok. So mostly on Instagram. I go live once a month for casting and conversations. And then if you want to go deeper into the community, I also have an email newsletter. I send one newsletter out every week. I like to be able to share examples, share resources, the behind the scenes of casting, and that can be found in my link in bio on Instagram.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time here. You're an absolute wealth of knowledge, and I appreciate all of the energy and just like the goodness that you put out into this industry, because it feels so much different than the last time, like before I had gone into it, and it feels welcoming. You're building that community. So I appreciate you and all of the energy that you're doing. So keep doing it. We love it. We love seeing it. And you're an absolute blessing.
Thank you. I think this industry should be fun. And sometimes I feel people have lost that magic. And so I really hope I never do, because I genuinely love getting to do this every day.
Wonderful. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for watching and listening to another edition of Badass in Action. Thanks for tuning in to Badass in Action. Drop a quick note, DM, comment, or review, letting me know the moment that hit hardest or the questions it sparked. Your insights fuel future episodes. Until next time, stay badass, keep moving, and remember, you got this.